This is Jeff with Living in Arizona, and today we are going to answer a question about the housing bubble in Arizona. Obviously, I'm not a financial analyst. I just track markets. I pay attention to interviews with Warren Buffett. I even listened to an interview tonight with Alan Greenspan, Ray Dalio, and the basically what we can conclude is no one knows when the bubble's going to pop or when the U.S. Economy is going to go into a recession, but we're going to talk about this as per a question from Jennifer Payne. When is the housing bubble going to pop or burst in Tucson? Well, because Tucson and Phoenix are basically tied together, unless some natural disaster makes it to where they're not tied together, through that corridor that's Phoenix, Tucson, Casa Grande, that's going to basically connect them all. As Phoenix goes up, Tucson will go up. But right now, Tucson and Phoenix, Tucson's cheaper. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about this. I'm going to also put my opinion in this and do that also. So Living in Arizona, subscribe to this channel. Also, you can check us out on Instagram. And we do have another link to other Facebook groups. Okay, so let's talk about this. Phoenix housing forecast for 2019, a more modest year ahead. So this is something that I want to talk about. The median home value in Phoenix was up to around $240,000 as of January 2019. Okay, that was an increase of 8.7% compared to a year earlier, according to Zillow. So remember, $240,000 for an average median home price. Now let's take it all the way back to 2006. Let's see here. Do we have that data? Let's see if we can pull that data here from 2006. Okay, so here you go on ArizonaCentral.com. Could June be the month Metro Phoenix home prices rebound to the record they hit in 2006? A new analysis of pending sales in the valley shows prices are nearly there. In May 2006, Metro Phoenix median home price hit $259,000. Then in June, it set a record for $264,000. So why is this important? Well, I'll tell you why. There was a stimulus during the Obama era and the Bush era following the recession that happened in 2008 and 2006. 2008 is when the stimulus happened for Bush, but you could see 2006. So the money supply was smaller. What do I mean by that? Well, there was inflation, meaning there was more money printed out of thin air that was introduced into the economy then. And so the fact that the housing market hasn't rebounded to 2006 levels pre-inflation. So that means that, in my opinion, the way I look at that is we would probably have to look at how much the entire money supply increased. But I would say that once we hit that $260,000 median home price, $264,000 median home price that we had in 2006, we would probably have another maybe 5% to even add on to that before we can really start talking about a bubble. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. We're just looking at the bubble and saying, hey, when is it coming? Okay. Could it happen tomorrow? Yes, of course. Do I see signs of it around Phoenix? No, I just see more of a building boom. I've made countless videos about the building boom that's occurring here. So I'm saying that we still have another 5 to 10% in value, more than likely to increase upon or add on before we start getting into that subject of a bubble. So if the home is currently selling at say 270, what's 10% of that? That would take us up to around $300,000. So a $270,000 house right now, when that house reaches about $300,000, you might be starting to think about the bubble. And that varies because that's nominal. So if it's, just go on the percentage, 5 to 10%. Now, that would be my estimate. And I think we still have about 1 to 2 to 3 years even of more continued growth. And also, that's something to keep in mind. But let's talk about some of these articles around here. Phoenix housing market predictions 2019. So July 2018, $265,000 median home price sold. That's up, okay? Phoenix home prices are up 9.5% from last year, July to July. From July to July. That was in 2018. Prices are up 17.8% since 2 years ago. So yes, we are more right now. If you are buying in this time frame, you are getting close to a bubble. So if you're going to buy, you're going to want to do it sooner than later because. But when you buy, you have to bear in mind, okay, if the housing market goes down, are you going to be okay with living in the home that you're in, or are you looking at it like a investment? Because if you're looking at it like an investment, that's a risky buy. And I think with the predatory lending and the laws they have now, you can't go out and just buy a whole bunch of second and third, fourth homes that you want to do investments on. You kind of have to live there because that's what got us into the mess in the first place. And if I was to be extremely bullish and say just how far could this thing really go, I mean, with the amount of Californians moving here, I mean, we're talking a lot of Californians moving to Phoenix and Tucson, Prescott, all across the state. And they're not the only ones. The people are coming in from Chicago. They're coming in from Canada. I think there's going to be there's potential here for the values to keep going up. The only thing is, if they keep building new homes, what they're doing is they're keeping up with the supply and demand, which doesn't exactly drive up the demand for homes like me or mine because they just keep building more and more homes. So that's kind of counterproductive for me. It's good for the growth in Phoenix if you're a builder, but it's not good for homeowners, I don't think, because they just keep building more and more homes. Although that's been the story of Arizona forever. And it's, can the builders keep up with all the demand? So we'll see. You can see, is Phoenix housing market, Metro Phoenix in 2019, is there a crash looming? Well, here they go. They even mention inflation here. But if inflation is taken into account, Valley home values are still more than 10% behind 2006 boom levels. Final home price numbers and sales are 2018 are still being tallied. That is so crazy because I did not read that article until I said that, but I mentioned it earlier in the video. So even my consciousness, which is honest, I have no reason to make that up, but my consciousness is on par with what the mainstream is stating. And I could have been influenced by the mainstream, but I'm consciously aware of the fact that there was an inflation injected into the economy, and I'm sharing that with you. If you didn't already know, some of you already knew. But factor that in when you're looking at home values and whether or not we're getting close to a bubble. Why would we be in a bubble if we haven't even reached 2006 levels? I mean, even across the country, just because the housing market slows down doesn't mean we're entering into a bubble. That just means that it's cooling off. You know, like some places aren't growing as rapidly as others. Even Los Angeles, a big metropolis, isn't really growing. It's actually growing less numerically than even Phoenix and San Antonio. So take that into consideration. Anyways, guys, this is a quick video. If you enjoy videos like this, do subscribe to this channel, hit like on the video, drop a comment below sharing your thoughts on the recession, the bubble that's looming, that we all know is coming because charts go like this, right? So we'll see you guys next time. Click on any one of these other videos and have a great day.